Bruce Johnson, president and founder of BizScalers and the BizScalers Club. And today I want to talk to you about what to do when your business is struggling. What do you do when you're trying to grow and it's just not working? What do you do when you're trying to build a great sales pipeline and as hard as you're working, you're still not getting the pipeline you need? What do you do when you're trying a lot of different marketing activities and the marketing activities just aren't producing the kind of results that you'd want? What do you do when your people just aren't as productive as you'd like them to be? What do you do when your business is struggling? Now, to answer that question for you today, what I want to do is I want to give you a free little sample, free little taste of something from the BizScalers Club. And if you're not familiar with it, you can go check it out at scalingclub.com, scalingclub.com. But every week, I create a weekly leadership lesson from the trenches as part of the membership. And I've been doing this now, as the time of this recording, 62 weeks. I obviously do one every week, so whenever you're listening to that, it'll be a larger number than that. But I want to give you one from week 26 because it answers this very specific question. So if you want to understand what to do when your business is struggling, I think you're going to find this to be very helpful. So enjoy this free sample that you get. And again, you can check it out at scalingclub.com. So here you go. Enjoy. Welcome to this week's Leadership Lessons from the Trenches. This one is number 26, and it is this. If your business is struggling, chances are inconsistency is its cause. Have you ever noticed that when something isn't working right, when your business is struggling, the natural tendency for most people is to always try to find something new or something different or something big or something nefarious that's actually creating the problem for the reason why this thing that we think should be working isn't working the way that it's working or we think it should be working. Have you ever noticed it's always something, for example, out there? It might be, the economy isn't working right now for us, or our industry isn't doing well right now, or it's the customers, their demand is changing and their buying patterns are changing, or it's a competitor who's done something new and different, and that's the reason why we're struggling. Or if it's not something outside, then we'd look and we'd say, well, maybe it's something new. Maybe it's the new technology that we haven't embraced, or maybe we haven't really kind of mastered this whole social selling thing, or maybe it's marketing automation. If we just got that marketing automation down, we got the tagging and behavior adaptive marketing stuff in place, then it would really take off. And if it's not outside or it's not something new and different, then we'd often look internally and say, well, is it something I'm doing? Is it something our people are doing? And so we're always trying to find what is the reason why things aren't working the way that we think they ought to be working. And the reason why this question is so difficult is because there's usually a little nugget of truth to little bits and pieces of them. Sometimes it is the economy. Sometimes it has something to do with a competitor. Sometimes it has something to do with a new technology or some kind of social selling kind of issue. Maybe it is sometimes us. Sometimes it's our people. And so it's often hard to figure out because sometimes it seems like it is them. And then other times, well, it's clear that it's not them because, there are times that we're doing things right. And so where do we find the answer when it seems like sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not, sometimes this is the problem, sometimes it's not? Well, one of the things that you do as a leader is you have to make sure you're learning to step back and developing pattern recognition skills, right? The ability to be able to see what other people can't see, because you can take a bunch of data points in various places and somehow pull them together in a unique way and begin to say, oh, I see the pattern. And in this case, I think frequently the pattern isn't that you need to do something new and different. In many cases, it's that you simply need to be consistent. That the reality of the problem is that it's inconsistency that is actually creating the problem. For example, let's say if your sales are flat. You know that for your sales team to do their job, you've figured out, and I'm just going to pick a number here, that your salespeople need to do 20 contacts per day. And if they do 20 contacts per day working through your funnel metrics, they're going to end up producing X number of sales at Y number of dollars. And therefore, they're going to end up meeting their OTE, and you are going to meet your revenue numbers for the year based on your projection of let's say 25 or 30 or 40% growth this year. So you know what the numbers are. You've set those metrics. And you know what? Some days your salespeople do hit their 20 outbound contacts. The reality, though, is that if you're really measuring them, they don't consistently hit those 20, right? They might have days where they get 9 or 13 or 11 or 14. And if you actually averaged out their behavior, you might find out that the average actually is 13, not 20. And you go, well, why are we falling short? If they were actually consistently doing the 20 contacts every single day, you'd probably be hitting those metrics and you wouldn't be struggling the way you are right now. Or let's say you've taken the time to put together some sales scripts and your salespeople use them, part of the time, but they don't consistently use them. If they use them consistently, do you think that you'd get a better result? Probably. Or let's say you have a system set up where your receptionist on the way out is supposed to ask each customer for referrals. And if you have a business where people are infrequently, maybe you do it every 3 times. Well, if you actually measured, you might find out that they only ask 20% of the time, which means that by definition, 80% of the potential referrals aren't coming in simply because they're not consistently asking the question. It's not that you haven't set up a good system, it's that it's not being consistently applied. Or it could be your customer service agents who aren't consistently using the process that you put in place. Maybe they're not responding by X amount of time, and so therefore you're getting frustrated people because the calls aren't being made in the amount of time that you already set. Sometimes they do get them made within, let's say, the first hour, but other times it might be, half a day or 2 days later, and you're wondering what the problem is. Well, you've lost customer love because your customer service people aren't actually consistently applying the process that you already put in place. Or how about you? Let's just say that right now that you've made a decision that for me to be a good leader, manager of my people, let's say you have 3 or 4 direct reports, and you say, I need to meet with them every week for 15 to maybe 30 minutes, just to make sure you're on the same page, you're helping them, you're coaching them, you're making sure they're going to produce the kind of results that you want. And you've set up the system. It works great. Except that when you look back on the year, you find out that you're only meeting 60% of the time. Something always comes up, and therefore you didn't get to meet this week or the week after. And then you're wondering why things aren't going the way that they should. Well, it's because you set up a good system, you're just not consistently applying it. Now, the fact that you occasionally meet with them means that in your mind you're thinking, well, it's not me not meeting with them. No, it's that you're not consistently meeting with them. That's the problem. Or it could be on your own personal productivity. When I talk to people about their own personal productivity, they already know most of the things they're supposed to be doing. They're just not consistently doing them. If you've taken the course that we have on productivity, that one of the systems that we've set up is that every weekend you should review the week before so you can learn the lessons so you don't make the same mistakes the following week. Then you should set up your week using the weekly planner that we've set up. It's one of the favorite things that we have here in BizScalers. You work through the weekly planner before the week begins, probably on a Sunday evening for many of you who are working, Monday through Friday. And then you set up the next days with your daily success plan the day before, right? And if you every week do a weekly review, set up your week before the week and set up the day before the the day begins, and you use the whole process and you got alignment with all your, key projects for the quarter. When you do that on a consistent basis, you are very productive. The problem, of course, is that you don't use it all the time. But if you did use it every single day, if you did work the process every single week, do you think that you'd be more productive? Yeah. In other words, you don't often need to find something new and different. And there are times you need to find something new and different. But in most cases, when a business is struggling or when you're struggling or when an employee is struggling, it usually isn't because they need something new and different. It's because they're inconsistently doing the things that they've already said they're going to do, or they already know that they need to do, or in your case, you already know you need to do. If you just did them on a consistent basis, if you spent 2 to 4 hours every week planning on a consistent basis every week, would you be in a better place? If you spent an hour day learning every single day, 50 plus weeks a year, whether if you want to take the 2 weeks off or not, or you just want to keep learning on vacation, that's up to you. But whatever you decide, if you did that on a regular basis every single day, do you think you'd be in a better place? Probably. So it's not that you need new ideas in most cases. It's that you simply need to consistently apply what you already know. The same thing is for your business. The same thing is for your employees. So the next time that your business is struggling, step back for a moment and just say, is this an issue of consistency or inconsistency? And if it is, then fix that first, and then you can go on to adding other things to make it even better or to optimize it. But the first thing is to simply ask the question, is inconsistency our problem? And in many cases, I guarantee you're probably going to say that is the answer. And that is why that is this week's Leadership Lessons from the Trench. This one, number 26. If your business is struggling, chances are inconsistency is its cause. So until next week, to your accelerated success, Bruce out. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, I'd encourage you to check out the BizScalers Club at scalingclub.com. This is just a short 8.5-minute segment out of over 125 hours and growing of content designed to help you be able to grow and scale a great business faster. So I encourage you to check that out soon. If you're listening to this on Facebook, make sure you hit the like button. If you're listening by video on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're listening by podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well there, because my commitment to you each and every week is to provide you actionable content that will help you be able to grow and scale a great business and to do so faster. So until next time, to your accelerated success, Bruce out.